So this is the main crawl space. This is the crawl space underneath the kitchen, living room, dining room. Before I could start in on working on fixtures and utilities in that room, I needed to be able to stabilize the floor. So we had noticed that the floor was soft in a few places, like it's kind of springy and uneven. And I started exploring down here, and I realized it's because back at some point in the house's history, the floors were actually raised. So they lowered the ceiling and they raised the floor, which is pretty unusual. And how they did that is they raised the beams off of this ledge. So this ledge is where the beams would have originally sat. And then they put all this scrap wood underneath, and that's to hold up the beams. And in places, I don't know if you can see this block here, there's some back here. The blocks have either come loose or they've fallen out because they didn't really fit properly. So the floor is sagging and springy. And you can see the main beam down the center is just held up with some scrap wood. So I think what our plan is we're going to get some house jacks and work on lifting this floor up, and then we're going to take all of this waste wood out of here and try to drop the floor back down to its original level. So I will be putting a pressure treated sill plate on top of this ledge here to even out the weight of the beams. So that means that the floors will be about 1.5 inches taller than they originally were, but right now they're 9 inches taller than they originally were. So yeah, it's going to be a real benefit to drop these back down again. And you can see the floor structure is actually independent of the wall. It just rests on this ledge here. So shouldn't be a problem. It might be a little bit of a challenge. We'll see how it goes. But big basement. Okay, so we got the floor lowered. It came down about 7.5 inches altogether. So it's a pretty significant gain to the ceiling height in the kitchen, dining room, living room area. You can see that I replaced the piers. I'm going to save some of these big old pieces of timber for a future project. I'm not sure what. But I went ahead and just replaced the piers with laminated wood and put them on cement bases rather than just having the wood digging directly into the ground. You can see this is a joint here. There's a joint in the main beam that runs down the house. That's why there's that laminated piece of wood with the shims on top of it. So, the next step is going to be to level the floors out because they're all pretty crooked. So when you go upstairs, you can really see it's very crooked. It was like that before, and it's still like that. So I'm going to have Vincent upstairs with a long level checking, and I will be down here with my little lever jack and some shims. I'm sure you saw the little lever that I made out of wood earlier, and I'll go around and I'll shim the edges. So it was quite a project, but the floor is all lowered, and we're going to have more headroom upstairs. The floors are going to be much more stable. So I think that it'll be really nice all together. So that's where we're at now.